activities to ensure a healthier, cleaner, and more sustainable planet for business, customers, employees, homeowners, and families. As a young person, he realized that not knowing how to get things done was restricting young people from taking the plunge and standing up for issues they felt deeply about. He felt a strong urge to develop a platform for young people across the world to synchronize their approach towards addressing these issues. His will is to fight for the odds against the environment, sow the seeds of the foundation. He's going to present on driving the triple bottom line through integrated waste management and extended producer responsibility. Presenting Mr. Ashish Sachdeva.
Good morning, everyone. So today everyone should say it very loudly because, for a change, the air in Delhi is looking good, feeling good. I think for the first time in the last few months, the air quality index has dropped under 50, which was very, very surprising in a few areas. Because yesterday when I was thinking of, what should be the starting point of my presentation today, it was supposed to be that, we are living in times where the air quality index averages more than 300 in Delhi, and we've become used to it. I think it's become a norm which we are okay with anymore, which is a problem. We're welcoming people in the city of Delhi, which is the national capital, which is not through a monument, but a pile of mountain trash, the Ghazipur landfill. And, every time, if you cross by Delhi, if you're entering the Delhi via the road route, it should put you into a deep thought that what went wrong. India, as such, is a country which carries a lot of knowledge. We have seen so many speakers, panelists, so many innovators coming in and talking about, and it's not that all those innovations and knowledge has come in the last 12 months. The knowledge has been with the ministries, with the citizens, with the environmentalists, everyone. But where did we go wrong that, we could not control that mountain trash? Where do we keep going wrong still, and are we still heading in the right direction? And that's when, I told Mr. Ghosh that, I'll try talking about something which is much needed in driving anything related to waste management in India, which is the triple bottom line. Some of you may have heard about it already because we keep hearing about bottom line in the business world, but very less often do we hear about the triple bottom line. And by triple bottom line, I mean something that performs well on social, environmental, and financial perspectives. Take an example. Let's say I have an amazing project. Let's say it's a project for managing organic waste, and it is environmentally amazing. Like it's sustainable, does not have any bad emissions, but it is a very cost-intensive project. Not only it requires huge capital investment, but also calls for huge operations and maintenance costs. Will it survive down the line? It will not, until it self-sustains its costs, right? Because, see, the biggest problem is someone may just, put up that plant as a part of the municipal corporation, someone may do it as a part of the CSR, someone may do it as a part of the EPR if it's plastic or electronic. But sustaining it is the key. Once the capital investment is done, what will ensure? Are you going to put in huge amounts of money for running that plant on a regular basis? So that's where it fails. On the contrary, let's say there is a plant which is cost effective, which unfortunately becomes the criteria for qualifying a lot of waste management projects in India. We say, oh, this much costs X, that much, that one costs X minus 2, let's pick X minus 2. A lot of time technical feasibility checks are not done, especially when these projects are implemented by the citizen groups or the non-technical side of the world who have great intentions but are not enabled technically. So let's say it's a cost-effective plant, but environmentally it is not good. Eventually it is going to be in the eyes of the right people, whether it's the environmentalists, the citizens, or the government, and eventually it is going to be shut down. So driving all those three things in parallel is the key. It's not difficult, but once you have achieved that nirvana of having all these three benefits in parallel, is where the future lies. Only those things that can sustain themselves will automatically solve our problems. So I'll touch upon that, and prior to that, I'll give a little introduction about what I do. The Green Dream Foundation slide that you can see. Our tagline itself tells what we have been doing over the last 1 decade, from education to engagement to consultation. When we started back in 2008, when we were not even registered, it was just a a group of young people who came together, wanted to do something. We were also doing those typical workshops and seminars, going to schools, colleges. Couple of years down the line, realized that's not changing the game. I'm just another person trying to teach people. The lecture theory doesn't work anymore. So then that's when we started, we were like, let's start engaging people. Because once I have, let's say, interacted with a group of 100 people, how do I make sure that I'm engaging with them on a regular basis? Because engaging is what will lead to action eventually, right? And closing that loop is very, very important. I may inspire you with a great TED talk, but then you go back to business as usual. That doesn't help anyone. You just ate up on your data pack, you just wasted some electricity units, and then it didn't help the environment. So that's when we decided that, okay, education will be the starting point. So we do a lot of campaigns. I'll show you a few pictures and the initiatives we've recently taken. The response has been overwhelmingly well, because those were very innovative campaigns that we led. But that becomes just the starting point. We eventually then make sure the solutions are implemented, whether those solutions are at an individual level, a group level, a corporate level, or even at a city level, and solutions that work. One of the things that we have been trying to do, when people see Green Dream Foundation, they say foundation, oh, NGO, oh, funded from where? Oh, those kind of questions come up. They don't ask exactly what is the USP, what makes you unique. So overall, whatever little knowledge that we have been able to gather over the last decade, like I said, we evaluate a lot of solutions on a neutral basis. So for example, and the success ratio is 1:50. So if we are evaluating 50 solutions in India, 50 different types of solutions or solution providers who can manage plastic waste or organic waste or electronic waste, we end up working with only 1 out of 50. That is because we are again on the lookout for a business which is actually driving the triple bottom line. And then when we have formed a partnership, that's when we help them implement those solutions at these sites that we have activated. So that way, obviously, and that's why the term is consultation and not just typical implementation, because consultation involves a lot of due diligence on our side to make sure that the solution that we are recommending for any kind of environmental issue is sustainable and drives the triple bottom line. These are the top things we do, pretty apparent in what I've been trying to tell you, but the latest addition has been sustainability and CSR implementation. We work with all kinds of people. We are not restricted to working with just one set of people. We work even with other NGOs and nonprofits because we believe the ecosystem itself needs to grow. It's not a theory that, my objective or my vision or my vision is correct, as a NGO or a nonprofit. The point is, if we bring the goods of everyone together, we can actually drive solutions, because then on the other side, we're working with the private limiteds who at the end want to drive business profits, and that is also important. But then the group of environmentalists make sure that whatever we are implementing is also environmentally and socially sustainable. So, like I said, officially got registered in 2011 under 12A and ATG as well now. So we have been focusing a lot on broadcasting knowledge through social media. Not a lot of people know about it, but just through our social platforms, we reach out to 500,000 people on a monthly basis across Southeast Asia. And this outreach is not just like a typical education or a mantra. We actually have created a platform where people come in and talk about an issue. Like yesterday, someone posted about a lot of trees being cut because of a national highway construction. So that becomes a platform where people don't just come and crib, but they also talk about solutions, because there are a lot of well-meaning people in our society. We are surrounded by them who want to help, who can give their help to you in any way. It could be even the help of networking with the right people. But getting them under one roof and under one platform is the key, and that's what we have been able to create. So instead of creating a new Facebook or a new Instagram, we created a community within those platforms, which is one of the, as recognized by Twitter and Facebook India as well, is one of the highest outreaches for an environmental initiative in India. So we keep conducting workshops and seminars like these. Obviously, the tone and the objectives have evolved over a period of time. I could again just go and give a typical lecture which you may like, you may say, oh, great session, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is if 5 of you walk up later and say, oh, we really want to implement a solution, and then that gets implemented. And then we measure the impact, whether it's in terms of the amount of GHG gases diverted, whether it's the amount of emissions controlled and all of that. So we like, even though we are an NGO, we like operating in a very corporate and a professional way. We have also been part of the GPML, which is the United Nations Environment Program, since 2018. So EPR, it's a very interesting concept. I was just talking to a gentleman about EPR and how people have different versions of EPR, because in India it's still relatively a newer concept as compared to the Western world. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to follow what they did. We have our own expertise in India. We have our own challenges in India, and the challenges in India can only be solved locally. And that I've seen in the example of so many technologies, which succeeded in some part of the world, but they fail here. Time and again we have seen projects, especially in the waste management sector. Oh, we got this technology from country X. Oh, country X has got nothing to do with India. The climatic conditions are different, our challenges are different, the nature of our waste is different, right? The composition of our waste is different. So in EPR, while there is a text out there, I think, which is obvious, anyone can find it out on Google. The more important fact is, while the new EPR framework, the revisions are due in a few months from now, which we are all looking forward to. I think it's going to be important that they are reinforced well, and producers should not see it as a liability, but a way for them to actually again drive the triple bottom line. Because if it is done well, it will not be a cost center, but actually a platform which may be at least be cost neutral and drive a lot of social and environmental benefits for the organization. In India, a lot of times, a lot of laws are passed, and those are well-meaning laws drafted by a lot of well-meaning people. Where do we fail is enforcement all the time. I'll give you an example. We all know about the National Clean Air Program, right? Which was rolled out by Ministry of Environment a couple of months ago. What happened after that? There were clear recommendations as to what should be done by the states. But one thing that missed, because they relied on the state pollution control boards to make their own state level plans for the year. And trust me, with knowing our interactions, most of the states didn't even know what is NCAP. And if they knew about NCAP, they didn't know what's in it. While on the other side, yes, there were a couple of examples of states which were doing really, really well and taking them very, very seriously. So I think, again, it's not about a couple of people doing really well. I think everyone has to start participating in that. And the success of EPR will actually lie in two things. From an organization side, companies will be motivated if it is not just a cost center, but like I said, it drives value for the organization. And for overall, from an India waste management crisis perspective, it's a win-win situation for everyone, because the multi-layered plastic that you saw lying on the road, because it didn't carry any value, now has a value all of a sudden, and the waste picker might just pick it up. So, we've been, like I said, working with partners, and one of our partners, Blue Planet Environmental Solutions, that's the framework that they believe in. One of the things, so last month I was at a forum called the Smart Cities India Expo in Pragati Maidan, and along with Shri V.K. Jindal, who is the JS for Swachh Bharat Mission, it was a pleasure, because very rarely it happens that you were resonating what exactly the guy sitting on the public side was also feeling. His take was that the waste management solutions have to be technically driven, but more importantly, they have to be integrated. And by integration, I mean, as of today, there are specialist players for collection, for transport. There are specialist players for different waste streams. Oh, we just manage organic waste. What about the rest? Oh, we just manage organic waste or plastic waste. The point is, if that is the structure, if you're working individually with multiple companies, then they will extract what they want to out of the municipal solid waste, and the rest they may not care about in most of the cases, because then it is of no value to them. However, if all of this is integrated, if it's one party doing it end to end, then basically they're making sure that there is zero waste going to landfill, except whatever 5-10% inert. This way there is no passing the buck, there is no passing the ball, and there is one entity which takes care of from collection till resource recovery, whatever other points in between, they take care of that. So what they've been doing is they've been integrating with a lot of existing players. They have not brought technologies from different parts of the world. They have developed technologies indigenously, acquiring and working with technologies that exist in India. So this framework, like you see, reduction and segregation at source, that they believe in as well, which is great, and efficient and responsible collection systems, and maximum resource recovery through segregation. Now you see segregation here as well, because let's say the segregation at source is not 100%, you might need to do a part of it mechanically or manually as well after the collection has been done. Then the recycling and the waste processing, and eventually adding value and reintroducing into the economy. That's very important. It's not about just processing the waste. Creating that value and reintroducing back into the economy that's where the key lies. That's just a pictorial representation of the end-to-end process management, which is segregated under 3 headers, which is collection and transportation, segregation, processing and treatment. One of the most interesting things, and which really excited me back in March when they launched their Punjabi Bagh project, which is a 10 tons per day organic waste management. And generally the picture that you have for an organic waste management project is, oh, it might be stinking, or it does not look good, it does not smell good, right? At the same time, is it financially sustainable again? Like I was saying, I will keep coming back to the concept of triple bottom line. Not only the project is environmentally doing well because because it's a biomethanation project, and we have seen people who are working in this domain know how biomethanation is a great technology to be in the organic waste management space. Also, because the byproducts are such high quality. So compost is something that we keep hearing about, and there are different versions of compost in the market. Someone may just claim that, okay, that's compost, but it's just a soil moisturizer, which instead of helping the farmer may just end up hurting their lives. More importantly, they're also able to generate electricity. And for the first time ever, an organic waste management project is now through a net metering system giving electricity back into the grid. So not only the plant is self-sufficient in terms of its electricity needs, it is even generating more units which go back into the grid directly. So that helps you create a value chain, a revenue model which is sustainable. So the municipal because this was done in collaboration with the South Delhi Municipal Corporation. Obviously they put in the capital investment, but the biggest challenge for anyone is, okay, fine, right now a municipal corporation is motivated for whatever reason. They want to implement a very nice waste management project. What will sustain is that it is self-sustaining in terms of revenue, environment, and social. And by social, I mean, formalizing the people who are working within the plant. So let's say this 10 tons per day plant has 5 people working in it. They're all formalized. So they have all the social inclusions, not just visibly that they have a good looking dress and an iCard, but also inclusions like, admission for the children in the school, the identity cards, their health insurance, their life insurance, and all of those kind of benefits, which a lot of times exclude, not a lot of times, majority of the times missing in our informal sector in India. For people who have been working on the ground would know that. A recent interaction with waste pickers also revealed that, they were asked as to what is the biggest challenge that you face from a social perspective, and their answer was get the admission for our children to schools. And you can imagine, such a basic thing that we take for granted may not be that easy for them. So those kind of social inclusions are very important. If you're really looking at a multi-year vision of a company and not a player that comes into the market, works for 2 years and goes away. So from a collection and transportation perspective, again, I think things need to be technically enabled. A lot of technologies like these have already been existing, whether it's RFID tracking, where you're able to track whether the waste is getting collected or not, a proper dashboard for not only the individuals, but also the RWAs as well as the municipal corporations, where they can see, is the waste actually getting collected on time from everywhere and going to the designated place or not. Now, this segregation that we are seeing is not the segregation at source, because obviously, they drive that, they work with us very, very closely. We help driving segregation at source through different initiatives, which I'll talk about later in the slide. But segregation after the mixed municipal solid waste has reached your facility, then they use different kind of technologies and also ensure quality assurance. There are multiple stages of segregating it to ensure, because the more segregated it is, the maximum will be the resource recovery, like all of you understand. So obviously they are working on the hard plastic waste processing. I'll not spend much time on that. The soft plastic waste processing, those of you who were present yesterday as well have heard Dr. Medha from Rudra Environmental talk about this innovation that has been gaining good results, because it is not just another pyrolysis, but a technology that has been seeing great results again on the triple bottom line. I had come across when I saw them on the Discovery feature, Planet Healers, and the plant there in Pune. If anyone goes to Pune, should definitely have a look on how they're not only just, solving the problem of multi-layered plastic, which seems to be a short-term problem, because it looks like a lot of companies are going to commit to sustainable packaging, hopefully, but also creating jobs for women. There is a significant angle of women empowerment involved in that. And we've, thanks to Dr. Vasudevan, we have discussed this at stretch. So I've already gained PhD in this concept now, so I'll not spend much time on it. because a byproduct of the processing of by Dr. Medha's company is also being used in construction of roads, which has already been mandated in the rules. The social impact, which I always love, and I think I've already mentioned, so like social inclusions like minimum wages, opening the bank accounts, they are a given. In India, a lot of times, again, the labor and the people involved in doing the ground level work, a lot of times, why is it the cheapest to work in India?
Thank you. I would now request Mr. Indrajit Ghosh to please come and felicitate Ashish Sachdeva. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Ajay Mishra, Director, BioCrux. Ajay Mishra is the founder of BioCrux India Private Limited.